Welcome to the John and Rick Talk All About Insurance podcast, the show where two good old boys with over 80 years of combined experience pull back the curtain on what really works in the insurance world. Join John Smith, industry legend, marathon runner, and top producing agent for nearly 4 decades, and Rick Witcher, proud farmer, regional director, and lifelong relationship builder, as they share stories from the field, interview real agents, and show you how to build a business and a life you love. This ain't corporate. This is real talk from real agents, with a whole lot of laughs, straight up wisdom, and the occasional rabbit trail. Now, here they are, John and Rick.
Hello guys, this is Rick, and
I'm John.
And we're with the John and Rick podcast.
We're going to be training agents on how to work in the group business. I think it's called Group Agent Training. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on our webpage, groupagenttraining.com. Rick, today, let's talk about a new agent. So you decide, hey, I want to get in the insurance business. Well, now what?
Well, lots of times you have people come to you. I know both of us have been in the business a long time, and they want to get in the business.
Yes, sir.
And many times, and I'm sure you've had this happen, John, they want to get in the business part-time, which can work out because you do need to have a good financial backing before you enter the business. It takes a little while to build a business.
Absolutely.
It's like any business.
Yeah.
It takes time to build. You see so many folks that think that you do nothing for a living. It's one of the hardest businesses you will ever enter.
Yeah.
However, it is rewarding.
Yes, sir.
Both of us can speak to that. We've both done well, and it's been a good career.
Yes, sir. Well, and insurance is different. I think that, if you're selling a car or you're selling a house, you're selling a tangible product, you're selling something here that you're selling a peace of mind. And sometimes it's not an easy grasp of concept to understand. Different products sell differently, as we know that. And I'll always have somebody that say, I think I can do this. I hear what you say and everything like that. How hard is it? Well, it's pretty hard, isn't it?
It's difficult, but I will tell you that there was about 3 years that I left the insurance business and was a manufacturer's rep. I always thought that selling a tangible product would be easier.
Uh-huh.
Quite frankly, it's no different.
Yeah.
It's making calls. You and I talk about that on a regular basis, John. And you have to ask people to buy, and I don't care what you're selling.
Absolutely.
And these were products for construction jobs. They had to buy them, but you still had to call on that person.
Yeah.
And you had to ask them to buy from you. So it's sales.
The only thing we don't have to do is we don't have to keep an inventory of supplies in stock. We basically can do it on our computer. We can do it on a piece of paper. Or I can write a note and do it later online. So it does make it a little bit easier as far as having to keep a bunch of supplies and things in stock. But let's talk about, let's say that you've got a friend, Rick, and they come to you and say, hey, Mr. Witcher said, tell me about the insurance business. What would I do if I want to get in the insurance business? What's my first step? What would you tell them?
Naturally, the first step is to find someone you want to work with, as we've talked about in some of our other podcasts. Find someone you can trust and that can be a mentor to you.
Correct.
The next thing is you have to go and get pre-licensing training in most states.
Yeah.
It requires 40 hours of pre-licensing training, and then you must take your insurance exam and get a license.
Yep.
Once you have that, then you can go to work.
Yeah. Then you can start selling.
That's right.
So that being said, what you just went through, that step of process is true, and it takes a little while.
It does.
So when you decide, let's say someone decides January 1, I'm coming in the insurance business, they're probably not going to get a check until February 15th, somewhere around there. It's going to take them a little while to get that process going.
Well, if someone's quick, they can study the exam. It's all online today, as opposed to when you and I started, I'm sure you were the same way. We just studied our own.
Yep.
And you passed the test, and that was it. That's been many years ago.
Yeah.
Now they do require the online training, which is self-study, most of it. But you do need to have some funds there to pay for the training.
Yeah.
Pay for your exam. I don't know how many times you can take the exam in certain states, but you can take it. I tell people, if you take the exam and you fail it immediately take it as quick as you can again.
Absolutely.
Because you will do better. And, there's all this whole deal of how to take
Well,
the
they
exam.
use this exam, Rick, to weed people out.
It do.
I would think that 75% of what's on the test you'll never ever use in this industry. Sad to say, that's not a nick at anybody or anything, but they use that and they make it tough because they really don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the insurance business.
It's just laws and regulations.
That's it. But one thing that I've noticed, and I always tell people when they come on board, you need to have some emergency funds set up.
Yes.
Because you're going to have to go into some of those. If somebody come to me, Rick, and said, I want the insurance, I need a check tomorrow, this is not the business for them.
Right.
Because you're not going to get that check tomorrow. But this is for the future. This is what you build for your livelihood. This is a career. A lot of people think a job is 9 to 5. This is not a 9 to 5. If you treat it as a 9 to 5, you're sadly mistaken.
You'll be out of business.
Because it needs to be a 9 to 9. People come to me and they say, well, I don't know what I want to do, whether I want to do the individual stuff and just sell some life insurance to my friends, or whether I want to go work in the group side and do health insurance and stuff like that. You should try it all.
Right.
I think as a new agent, you should try a little bit of all of it, see what your expertise is, and then hone your skills that way.
That's right.
Because not everybody's cut out to do the same thing. I mean, we're not all robots. We're not all cookie cutter.
That's right.
So, but everyone's going to have their own little niche of what they do, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I had been in business for myself prior to really getting the insurance business. And so I was used to dealing with business people. And it took me a few years to figure out that I wanted to do the group side. I bought into things that companies will tell you, you go do financial planning, which I did the first 3 years. And different things are right we're all different. You and I happen to have met through doing payroll deduction business or group business, but I did everything prior to that. I also was in the property and casualty business for a while.
I didn't know that.
I did not like that. I sat in an office every day and I hated it. So, but I've done every end of this. I personally think this is the best end of it, but it's not for everyone.
Well, and you say it's not for everyone. We've all hired some people that we thought would never make it in this business because they didn't have that moxie or whatever you want to call it in this business. What trait do you think somebody has to have to be in this business?
The willingness to work and build their own business.
The desire.
That's
If
it.
they don't have that burning fire in the pit in their stomach, they won't be successful in this business.
That's right. It's not a fast money maker. It's not a gimmick that, you're selling vitamins or Amway or whatever. You have to look at it for the long term.
Absolutely.
And that's the key.
Absolutely.
But
But I think that if you find somebody, and I'll be honest with you, we've had good success with people who have came from a background of being in the service.
mhm.
They have that regimen of they're told what to do, and they just do it. If you find somebody you can tell them what to do and they do what you tell them to do, they're going to be successful. I
Exactly.
mean, if you just say, here's what you do, and you do it, and they follow that formula, they have no choice but be successful. I think success rubs off on people. So there's so many people out here recruiting. I'm on Facebook and I try to recruit for Rick and myself, for our region to bring people on board, and everyone goes on and they post that I'm unhappy with who I'm with and I want this level of contract and stuff like that. They're not in the business long enough to start demanding those things.
That's right.
Those are the ones that I run from. I don't want someone that thinks they know more than I do with 45 years in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Use my expertise, use Rick's expertise, use whoever the person is that hired you in the business to figure out what you want to do. I've fallen flat on my face enough to know what does not work.
There you go.
So I can show you what works.
Yep.
And use that so that you don't waste your time on things that are irrelevant.
And one of the things I'll say is that we have both gone out and made calls. I had an agent call me one day and he said, I'm not going back out tomorrow. A young guy, great salesman, but he was trying to find new groups. And I said, what's going on, Will? He said, went out today, didn't sell anything. All I did was waste gas. And I said, well, if you owned a restaurant, Will, and nobody came in today, would you not open tomorrow? He said, that's different. I said, it's no different.
No different.
It's a business. You're going to have down days. You're going to get down. Find someone to work with.
Yep.
You and I both talk about that. When we first got in the business, we would find people to work with because
Absolutely.
two people will do a little better. You can lean on each other.
Absolutely.
And I have agents that say, well, I wouldn't want to share my commissions. Well, if you made nothing that day, but that person got you up to where you didn't go home and you made something, half of it, then you're still better off.
To go broke sharing commission.
That's right.
So if you're right in business, and you said something, we all get discouraged.
Sure.
And I'm somebody who's an anomaly. My wife calls me in this business. I love to go out and make calls.
Right.
I will go out and make 15 calls and come in, and I've still got that fire and still got that burning desire to close a group. That's what I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some days that I don't want to go out. If it's cold and it's rainy and it's nasty and I'm a little snotty or something like that, it's just so easy to stay home. But then I find myself getting on the phone and calling somebody and say, hey, don't forget we want to talk about that. Can I come by tomorrow or Monday? Because I find myself still going back to work.
Right.
Just because it's in my blood. And once you get this in your blood, if you bite into this career hook, line, and sinker, you're in it the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, once you start making money, the whole thing with insurance is residuals. And you start having that block of business that comes in every month, and you keep doing the same thing, but every year you make more money because it comes from the year before, the year before, and the year before. You're going to continue to grow in this business, and the sky's the limit.
And you and I we did a podcast about understanding the contract.
Yes, sir.
That's a very important thing. Is I don't care who you go to work with, read the contract and understand the contract. If there are many contracts out there that there's really nothing for the agent.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand your contract, then you don't know what you may be building nothing.
Let's talk about something, and I don't want to downplay and pick on anybody or anything at all, but let's say that somebody tries to recruit me or you. We're brand new in the business, and they bring us in and they tell us, here's how you sell, but then they try to start getting you to go out and recruit people. How would you feel about that as a new agent to start with?
I think that's insane.
Why do you think that?
Because I've told agents, and I think you and I probably agree on this. I'll tell an agent, if you know someone, give me their name and I will recruit them and we'll make it work for you. But they don't know anything about the business. How can you teach someone when you know nothing about the business?
Yeah.
That's any business.
Yeah.
If you're a new carpenter that are trying to be trained to be a carpenter and you know nothing about building, how can you train someone to do something you don't know how to do?
It's a blind lead to blame.
That's exactly.
Well, and there's a lot of companies out there, not naming names, but their whole concept is to bring an agent on board. You sell a couple of policies, they give you a fancy title, then they tell you to go out and start recruiting.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing you can do. If you're a new agent, your first 2 or 3 years should be spent selling business
And learning.
building you a block of business, learning what you need to do. Then once you know it, then you can bring somebody on board and train somebody.
And you and I both have worked for these companies over time.
Oh, yeah.
And both of us very happy where we are now. But I always tell people, that title and $1.50 will buy you a cup of coffee at McDonald's.
Got it? Not anymore.
Title is nothing. Yeah, that's right. Let me ask you about something else I know you've seen and I've seen over the years. And it's the recruiters that tell people, oh, you'll get rich this year. You do this, you get your license and we'll make you rich. What do you think about that, John?
That's just a bunch of hogwash. It's the only way you're going to get rich is if you get out and do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. And it's not going to happen in a year.
It's not. Nothing replaces hard work. You've got to get out there. You got to beat the streets. Like we talked about a new agent, I tell them during the day, they need to go work on some businesses. And at night, they need to work on their individuals. Mm-hmm. And that way they've got both level streams of income coming in. But then they say, you know what? I don't really like the groups. I like the individuals. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want to work, or vice versa. But that gives them the knowledge to know what part they like of it.
Absolutely.
Some people came in this business long before you and I, knocking on doors, selling insurance door to door. I never did that. Would not have made a career at it. But some people, that's their cup of tea. That's what they're good at.
Had a lady, and you probably remember her, she's passed now, up in North Alabama, that she wrote 15,000 a month, knocking on doors, selling nothing but cancer policies.
Yeah, just
going door to door.
and people would buy.
They buy it, but
And
because
that's her personality.
that's right, and
That's
you have
not
to
my
ask people to
personality.
buy.
And we're all over the place. Again, we're talking insurance and going down rabbit holes, as we call it. But right now, end of the year, people are selling their Medicare plans and their marketplace plans, and they're at these call centers and they're just dialing for dollars, as we call it. And then when they get done with that, now they think, all right, now I can do that on the phone. Now I want to go in the insurance business. Here's the thing they don't forget, or that they didn't forget, or they didn't remember, excuse me, is that all that business they wrote went through their upline.
They wrote to somebody else.
They wrote for somebody else. So now they're starting on board and they're thinking, well, I can do that. You're back to square one.
Yeah.
You're starting out with zero, clean slate. You got to start again. All those people are not your clients. So you got to start over again, building you that client base. And I think that people get a misconception of what I call leads. So if you're working at a call center, you're selling final expense, you're selling Medicare, and people send you those leads, when those leads dry up, if they're good leads at all, you're going to start over prospecting again. That's the hardest part of this, Rick.
Prospecting is the thing that people never learn, and that's the heart and soul of this business, is to learn to prospect. I don't care if it's individual sales, if it's group sales, you have to learn to prospect. If you don't learn to prospect, you will not survive any sales business
at any length of time.
Think about department stores or home centers, whatever. They advertise. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And advertising, I've never seen it work really well in the insurance business. It works to an extent, but prospecting, I knew a friend of my dad's years ago was a car salesman, and he made the statement to me one time. He goes, I thought, well, all they do is sit there and wait on people to come in. He goes, no, I send out 10 cards a week. I self-address them.
Yeah.
Letters and cards saying, hey, you bought a car from me last year. And are you in need, or you know someone that needs to buy a new car?
Yep.
I never thought about that. But the successful people in any business are always prospecting.
Take an extra step and do the prospecting.
That's right.
Right.
The other guy sits there and then he's there for as long as they'll pay him a little money, and then he loses that job and he goes to something else.
Yes, sir.
So you have to be committed to your business, no matter what type of business it is.
So for those of you who don't know, Rick and I have what's called the Red River Region, which is the agency for Oklahoma and Texas, the rival states there, the Red River. And so we have a huge amount of agents over there that write business, and we do train them. We train them to work groups through what's called associations. So city governments and housing authorities and home health and adults with disabilities and
county
governments and all those kind of groups. That's our prospecting. We've got 18,000 home health agencies in the state of Texas. We'll never lose prospects. Mm-hmm. These people know us on a first name basis, and we can walk in and say, we're part of your association. There's no other company that does that. They don't go in and pay those dues and cultivate that market like Rick and I have done. And we basically got that from, I guess you can go Kentucky and Missouri and Texas, Oklahoma, all the way down to the coast, that we've done all that. And we do it in other states when other agents come on board and need help with it. So when we say prospecting, that's what we're talking about, is getting you in front of people so that you can make money, so that you'll have people to talk to and be able to say, hey, this is what I can do for you. The other stuff can all be taught. We can teach you what to say, how to say it, what objections to answer, all those kind of things. The hardest part is finding the prospects. Shoot, Rick, we've got that figured out for them, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, that's the key. We have a prospecting tool that works. We're always open to finding other ways to do things.
Yes, sir.
I'm still a believer in asking for referrals, as I know you do on a regular basis. There's all types of ways. This business is like any other business. If you start it and you commit yourself to it. You're going to have some down times. You're going to have some up times. Sometimes you can't do anything wrong. Sometimes you can't do anything right.
Yes, sir.
However, you have to be in it for the long haul, and you have to take the good with the bad. And it's rewarding for those that stay with it. How many people, John, you've been in the business 45 years. I've been in it 40. It'll be 42 this. Well, it is 42 this next
9 years
today.
today,
Yeah.
Rick.
How many people have we seen come and go in this business because they thought it was just a simple
Thousands.
job that would pay them good money? Doesn't work, does
Had
it?
a guy tell me you could train a monkey to do this.
Well, yeah, I think I was me.
No, it wasn't you. It wasn't you. You can't do that.
The thing is, you can try and have people come to me all the time, existing agents that say, I'm a great enroller. And that's my statement to them. I could train a monkey to enroll.
Yeah.
I can train anybody. I could train a 2-year-old to enroll.
Just about.
That's not the hard part. The hard part is prospecting, finding new business, because that's what you get paid the good money to do.
Yeah.
And you have to learn to do that and stay with it. And how long would you say it would take a person to really build a good business?
I'd say it's going to take 18 months to 2 years.
I'd say a little more than that to
think
build
a
a
little more?
stable
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
Yeah. But you can make a living all that time. I'm not saying
Yes,
you
sir.
make a living. I'm saying to build a good, stable business where if something happened, for instance, you remember years ago, I broke my leg and I was in bed for 6 months.
Yeah.
Because it was that bad a break. And during that time, my check didn't waver $600 a month.
Yeah.
Had it been early in my career,
It's the gift of this
I would have been in
business.
trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about part-time versus full-time. Do you have a preference when you have an agent come on board?
If they have part-time, I mean, they have to commit themselves. That's my deal. But I certainly say if they don't have the money set aside to support themselves, or their spouse makes the money and they can do this and build a business, then part-time's okay. They can learn the business and then ultimately go into the business. Our business, we work for a company that we can do that, and your vested renewals are day one, so it doesn't make any difference if you're part-time or full-time.
Yep.
That's something to look for in a contract.
Yeah.
But if you want to do part-time, you just have to understand that at some point you'll either want to go full-time, or you may.
It won't pan out for you.
Well,
we've got an agent that's in Nashville, Tennessee, who came on board with us from another company. He actually got terminated while he was on vacation. They told him if he couldn't come back from vacation, they was going to let him go.
Mm-hmm.
So he got 2 kids. He has custody of, and so he's working 2 part-time jobs. And he said he still wanted to stay in the insurance business. And I worked with him for a little bit. And the happiest day, I'm not sure of his career, but my part of his career is when he let those other 2 jobs go and he got in the business full time, because he was making so much money on a part-time basis. I don't need those jobs. Now I can focus on what I like to do and what I'm good at, spend some more time with the kids. But if you're working 2 part-time jobs and you're trying to do insurance, you don't have time for your 2
all right.
So that was really, really beneficial. I was very proud of him. And I get prouder of other agents than they get of themselves, I believe.
Oh, I think that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
We like the end of. We've been successful in our personal careers, and we like to help people begin in the business, because there are a lot of people in the business. There are a lot of good agents in the business. There are some that are not in that
Absolutely.
that spot. And we like to bring you people that are quality and see them succeed.
Well, and I brought, most recently, I guess, I brought some people that are neophytes. And you know the difference in neophytes, someone that's never been in the insurance business, and then someone that's been in the business and just kind of moved from company to company. But when you bring a neophyte in and you try to explain to them the difference on this, it's kind of hard for them to grasp. But if they catch the concept and they understand it, it's like when the light clicks and their mind goes, oh, I get it now. That's kind of rewarding to see that. I brought a guy from working at a factory a couple of guys lately, and they came on board, and once they kind of got the gist of what it was, it's like the whole persona changed.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, it's not skills. The skills, you just got to be able to talk to people. You got to be able to get up and go say, "Hi, my name is, and here's what I do." The rest of it, Rick,
And you have to ask
your
the provider
somebody
to jump.
will teach you. You got to ask them. If you don't ask them by, they're not going to buy it.
Yeah. No one buys just out of,
Yeah.
you know, you might have one now and then. I will say one thing. I know we're looking at wrapping things up, but a question that I've had, you have people that have been in the business a long time, and they say, well, you know, it's the company. It's not the company. It's they're not doing their job. It's a daily work, isn't it, John?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. You gotta be dedicated to this. There's days that, again, like I said, there's days that you don't feel like you want to do it, but you got to do it. I mean, it is a job. You have flexibility in this business because you're self-employed, and you can take a day off to go do something that you want to do, spend time with the family, and doing a fun event with the wife and have a date night. But if you're in this business, you still got to work. You still got to put in the hours, because if you don't put in the hours, the pay won't resonate.
That's exactly.
You got to have those two things together. All right, well, guys, I hope that was a good little insight. If you want to be a new agent, there's a lot of things out there, a lot of things to look at. Make sure that you at least look at one or two different carriers and see what their backgrounds are, the contracts, the products you can sell. You don't want to go with a company, to be honest with you, that only has 2 policies. It's got a whole life and a term, and that's all you can sell, because you're very limited. You want to find something that's broad, that's going to have a lot of guns in your bullet, so you can go hunting and kill more targets with it. Okay. But, Rick, close us up if you would.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you being here. Those John mentioned, the neophyte, new people. If you're an agent that has been successful, for some reason it's time for a change, give us a call. We've got some things that we can help you with.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes it's just a matter of making one change, and you already know what you're doing.
Yes,
if you're not doing the work, then coming with us is not going to change. You have to do the work.
Well, go
We
do it.
appreciate you being here.
GroupAgentTraining.com. We've got a Facebook page. We've got a web page. We've got YouTube where you can watch our other podcasts out there. And we'll see you on the next podcast. Thank you, guys.
Goodbye.